This is Stuff You Like, you can call me Ursa, and back when I reviewed Stardust, I mentioned that I had a lot of feelings about the How to Train Your Dragon franchise. Have you ever watched someone try really hard to be someone else? And it's painful because they're just not that good at it, and they really don't like it, but they do it anyway for some reason. Okay, so the reason I love How to Train Your Dragon, and actually there are many reasons, but this is an interestingly meta one, is that they don't do that. How to Train Your Dragon is a movie about how you should try to be your best self and not someone else. And they made this movie while very obviously not trying to be something else, i.e. the books. I mean, sure, the How to Train Your Dragon novels follow Hiccup, who is the son of the chief and kind of scrawny and not exactly great Viking material, but the movie, while it follows a broadly similar theme, does its own thing, rather like Hiccup ends up doing in said movie. They made a movie about how it's best to be yourself while being themselves, and why we should listen to each other, even people who are wildly different from us, because communication is how we get things done. And about being compassionate in that. And they did all of this in a movie which contains rideable fire-breathing dragons and the oddest mix of accents ever. Seriously, do you get more Scottish as you grow up in Burke? Who knows? But today we are mostly talking about the first movie. I read the first book way back when, and then I saw the second movie, which I loved, which meant I watched the first movie, which was also great. I've even watched some of the TV series. But the first movie. The plot of How to Train Your Dragon goeth thusly. Dragons are evil, you guys. They steal sheep and set fire to shiz, and the Vikings of Burke are just sick to death of them. Also, Hiccup is a screw-up. He is the scrawny son of the chief, and he desperately wants to be a badass, but is burdened with a lack of height, a lack of muscle tone, and entirely too much brain, which he puts to use building contraptions which, on one occasion, actually succeed in shooting down a dragon. And not just any dragon. A Night Fury, the unholy offspring of lightning and death. More like lightning and dork, as it turns out, but hey. Anyway, Hiccup names the Night Fury Toothless, makes friends with him, makes him a replacement tail, it being his fault that Toothless lost his in the first place, and spends half the movie attempting to hide the fact that he's made friends with a dragon while using his newly gained dragon knowledge to totally kick ass at dragon fighting school. Which is totally a thing. Shh. The whole thing comes to a head when he finds out that the dragons are stealing food for a dragon queen. His dad finds out about Toothless and kidnaps him to help the Vikings find the nest and kill all the dragons. Big fight scene, queen killed, Hiccup almost dies, doesn't, but does lose a leg. Dragons are our friends now. End movie. As someone who watched the second movie first, and really loved it, I really appreciate that DreamWorks decided to take it in more of a Disney-esque epic direction than a suitable for reading ages 9 to 11 direction. Not that there's anything wrong with the books, obviously they're perfectly good books, but the widening of the potential target audience is much more sensible when you're making a movie. Books can be super targeted, and books for children kind of need to be so because reading ability changes so much over a relatively short space of time. But film is a much more universal language. Universal. See what I did there? Plus, I love the significant time gap. And I know it's so they can cram in a few TV series and put out more action figures and cards and whatnot, but truly, I love it. Shiz gets real, and I mean like Lion King real in the second movie, and I'm legitimately impressed that they went there. The first How to Train Your Dragon is a classic boy and his ex story, where making friends with a supposedly untamable beast leads to growing and maturity, and it works because it's funny and compelling, and I like the characters, and also, they let the characters grow and mature and such and such. Actually, I just kinda love the whole franchise. It's fun. The humor is dry like dust, and it has a tenderness that I associate with really good family films. There's a lot of love there, and a lot of care as evidenced by the fact that they hand out character arcs like sweeties. Hiccup gets a character arc, Stoic gets a character arc, Astrid gets a character arc, character arcs for you, everybody gets a character arc. And not only do they allow them to change in the first film, and allow them to change in the second film, but they allow them to change in between times, as evidenced by the changes in their character designs, and also by the, TV series. Hiccup and Stoic's main problem in the first film is that they never ever listen to each other. They are convinced that nothing the other person has to say will actually do them any good. And seeing as how Stoic's idea of improving Hiccup is to change...
Oh! This!
But you just pointed to all of me.
Yes!
That's maybe not so surprising. And them actually improving their relationship and learning to communicate with each other is a thing of joy and heartbreak.
All we needed was a little more of this. You just gestured to all of me.
I'm really looking forward to June 2017 and the release of How to Train Your Dragon 3. And though I have a feeling that it's going to, like, say, Toy Story 3, break my heart into little pieces, you know what? I'm kind of okay with that. As long as they also keep putting in lots of funny bits.
I'll see you back at the house. Great. Thanks for stopping by, and for the,
Hope you like the
breast hat.
The hat.
I have no idea why that's so hilarious to me, but shh, don't question, just go with it. And that's all for this time. Thanks for watching this episode of Stuff You Like. Don't forget you can like, share, subscribe, Patreon, Twitter me, Tumblr, send a carrier pigeon. You've got options is what I'm saying. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.